The ship moved through space like a shadow. It was long and dark, built for hunting. Captain N stood at the viewing window and watched the blue planet below. His scales were gray and thick, and his yellow eyes did not blink as he studied this new world. "What do the scanners show?" he asked. His second officer, a female named A, looked at her screen. "Primitive species. They have basic space travel, simple weapons, nothing that can threaten us." N made a sound deep in his throat. It was almost like a laugh. "Show me the creatures." The screen changed. It showed images of humans walking, talking, eating. N leaned closer. These beings had no claws, no fangs, no armor on their skin. They were soft and slow. Their eyes faced forward like predators, but their bodies said they were prey. "They are perfect," N said. "The grand harvest needs new blood. The audience is bored with the same species every cycle. These creatures will be interesting." The grand harvest was famous across 100 worlds. Rich and powerful beings paid enormous amounts to hunt living prey on special planets. The Empire had run these hunts for 3,000 years. They took creatures from primitive worlds, dropped them on hunting grounds, and let paying customers chase them down. It was sport. It was entertainment. Billions watched the broadcasts. N pointed at the screen. "Find me a small group, isolated, no witnesses." 3 days later, the ship descended through Earth's atmosphere in the dead of night. It landed in northern Mongolia, near a small research station surrounded by empty grassland. 12 humans lived there, studying the local wildlife and weather patterns. Dr. Park was working late that night. She sat at her desk, writing notes about wolf migration patterns. She was 34 years old, calm and patient. Her work required watching and waiting for long periods. She had learned to notice small details that others missed. A strange sound made her look up. It was like thunder, but wrong somehow, too steady, too close. She walked outside. The other researchers were already there, staring at the sky. A shape blocked the stars above them. It was massive and completely silent now. "What is that?" whispered Lee, the station's engineer. She was young, only 26, with quick hands and a quicker mind. She had built half the equipment at the station herself. Before anyone could answer, light poured down from the shape, white and blinding, felt her body go stiff. She could not move. She could not scream. She felt herself rising off the ground. Then everything went dark. When woke up, she was in a metal room with gray walls. Her head hurt. Her mouth was dry. She pushed herself up and saw the others around her. 12 people in total, all the researchers from the station. Sergeant was already on his feet. He was the military man assigned to protect the station. 40 years old, built like a stone wall, with eyes that never stopped scanning for threats. Right now those eyes were checking every corner of the room. "Everyone stay calm," said. His voice was steady. "Check yourselves for injuries, count heads, stay together." Stood up and did what she always did. She observed. The walls were smooth metal. The light came from panels in the ceiling. There were no windows. The air smelled strange, like copper and something else she could not name. "Where are we?" asked. She was the station's medical researcher, small and gentle, with steady hands made for delicate work. "I do not know," said, "but we are not alone." He pointed at the wall. A section of it was clear, like glass. On the other side stood creatures that were not human. They were tall, maybe 7 feet. Their skin was covered in scales that shifted from gray to green when they moved. Their heads were flat and wide, with yellow eyes that had vertical pupils like snakes. When one of them opened its mouth to speak to another, saw rows of sharp teeth. "Predators," she said softly. "They are built like ambush predators. See how their legs are bent. They are made for short, fast attacks, not for running long distances." Wu Jin moved closer to look. He was the station's cook, but he was much more than that. He had spent 20 years teaching survival skills to soldiers before he retired to the quiet life of a research station. His face was weathered and calm. "They have not killed us," he said. That means they want us alive for something. The answer came 1 hour later. A door opened in the wall, and one of the creatures entered. It wore a device on its neck that glowed blue when it spoke. "You have been selected for the grand harvest," the creature said. The words came out flat and mechanical from the device. "You will be transported to the hunting world of Aura. There you will be released into the wilderness. Hunters will pursue you. If you survive for 10 days, you will be freed." "And if we do not survive?" asked. The creature made that deep sound that now understood was laughter. "Then you die. This is the way of the hunt." It left without another word. For a long moment no one spoke. Dong, the quiet geologist, sat in the corner with his head down. Sara, the communications expert, was pressing her hands against the walls, looking for any kind of technology she could use. The biochemist was already studying the air vents, trying to understand the ship systems. "They think we are animals," said. Her voice was tight with anger. "They kidnapped us for a game." "Yes," said. She was still watching the creatures through the glass. "But they made a mistake." "What mistake?" asked. Turned to face the group. Her eyes were calm but sharp. "They classified us as prey. I watched their eyes when they looked at us. They see soft skin and no claws. They see small teeth and weak bodies. They do not know what we really are." Understood first. A small smile crossed his face. "We are persistence hunters. Our ancestors ran prey to death across the African plains. We do not need claws. We have something better." "What is that?" Dong asked. Looked at each person in the room. 12 humans. Scientists, engineers, a soldier, a cook, a doctor. Not warriors, but not helpless either. "We have patience," said. "We have teamwork, and we never ever give up. These creatures think they are the predators. They are wrong." Somewhere in the ship, a screen showed the faces of the 12 humans. Across 100 worlds, the announcement went out. New species discovered. The grand harvest would begin in 3 days. Betting opened immediately. The odds were simple. No one expected the humans to last more than 2. The transport ship dropped through thick clouds and landed hard. The door opened and bright sunlight poured in. Hot air hit his face. It smelled like wet earth and rotting plants. "Move," said a mechanical voice from speakers in the ceiling. "You have 10 hours before the hunt begins." The 12 humans stepped out onto soft ground. They stood at the edge of a jungle that stretched in every direction. Trees rose high above them, with leaves as wide as tables. Strange sounds came from deep in the green shadows. Birds that did not sound like birds. Insects that buzzed in low, heavy tones. The ship lifted off behind them and disappeared into the sky. They were alone. Looked around with wide eyes. "We have nothing, no food, no water, no weapons. How are we supposed to survive 10 days? Was already scanning the tree line. "We have everything we need. We have our minds, we have each other, and we have 10 hours to prepare." He turned to face the group. "Listen to me. The creatures who took us expect us to panic. They expect us to run in different directions, crying and screaming. That is what prey does. We are not going to do that." Wu Jin nodded and crouched down to examine the soil. He picked up a handful and smelled it. Good earth, plenty of moisture. There will be water nearby, and where there is water, there is food. "The trees," said, looking up. "Some of these look like bamboo. I can work with that. Give me 2 hours and I can make basic tools." Was already walking toward the jungle edge. She moved slowly, carefully. Her eyes swept over everything. The shape of the leaves, the tracks in the mud, the way the light fell through the branches. "These aliens built this place for hunting," she said. "But they stocked it with living things. Living things follow rules. They eat, sleep, and hide in patterns. If I can learn the patterns, I can predict what is dangerous and what is not." Divided them into teams. Wu Jin took 3 people to find water and food. Took 2 people to gather materials for tools. Took and Dong to scout the area and watch for dangers. Himself would plan their defense. Sara and stayed with. Sara was looking at a small device she had hidden in her sleeve. She had taken it from the transport ship when no one was watching. It was broken and dead, but she was already taking it apart. "Can you make it work?" asked. "Maybe," she said. "If I understand how they build things, give me time." By the end of the first hour, Wu Jin had found a stream. The water was clear and cold. He tested it carefully, tasting tiny amounts and waiting to see if he got sick. When nothing happened, he called the others. "Safe to drink," he said, "and look here." He pointed at the plants growing near the water. Some had thick roots, others had leaves that looked like spinach. He pulled one up and bit into it. "Bitter but not poisonous. We can eat this." Worked fast. Her hands never stopped moving. She cut bamboo with sharp rocks. She wove vines into rope. She made simple axes by tying stones to sticks. By the second hour, every person had a weapon. "Not much against their guns," she admitted, "but it is better than nothing." Dong came back from his scout looking excited. "I found something. Come and see." He led them through thick undergrowth to a hillside covered in rocks. At the base was a dark opening, a cave. "I went inside," Dong said. "It goes deep. The walls are natural stone. There is no metal, no technology. Their sensors might not be able to see through it." Smiled for the first time since they had been captured. A hiding place they cannot track. This changes everything. They spent the next 6 hours preparing. Wu Jin gathered food and stored it in the cave, built more tools and set up simple traps along the paths leading to their camp, found plants that could be used for medicine. She made bandages from soft leaves and paste from healing roots. Shared what she had learned. The aliens are ambush hunters. They wait and attack fast, but they get tired quickly. If prey runs for a long time, they cannot follow. Persistence hunting, said, we can use that. There is more, continued. Their eyes see heat very well. In the dark, they track body warmth. But during the day, when everything is hot, they have trouble. And their ears, Wu Jin asked. Very sensitive. They hear well. We must be quiet when we move. Had been studying the plants and animals around them. He approached with a serious expression. Some of the creatures here are very dangerous. I saw something in the water, big, many teeth, and there are tracks near the northern path. Something heavy walks there. We are not the only prey on this world, said. They stock it with many species. That means there are other dangers, but it also means there are other targets. When 9 hours had passed, gathered everyone together. They sat in a circle near the cave entrance. The sun was getting low. Soon the hunters would come. I want everyone to understand something, said. These creatures have hunted species from across the galaxy. They have technology we cannot match, weapons we cannot fight, but they have never hunted humans before. He looked at each face. Calm and observant, determined and clever, Wu Jin steady and experienced, gentle but strong, Dong quiet but valuable, Sara brilliant with machines, careful and precise, and the others, young researchers who had never faced anything like this. They expect us to scatter and hide, to shake with fear and wait for death. We are not going to do that. Then what do we do? Asked one of the younger researchers. Stood up, his body was hard and ready. His eyes were the eyes of a soldier. We hunt them back. Far above the planet, in a viewing station that floated among the stars, millions of beings watched the broadcast. They saw 12 soft creatures sitting in the jungle, talking in their strange language. The commentators made jokes about how pathetic they looked. These humans seem to think they have a chance, one commentator laughed. They are making little sticks and rocks, how cute. I give them 6 hours, another said. The first hunting party has some of the best trackers in the Empire. These creatures will be dead before sunrise. The betting boards lit up with wagers. The odds against the humans surviving one day were enormous. Millions of credits flowed in. On the planet below, the humans heard a distant sound, ships landing. The hunters had arrived. picked up his stone axe and smiled. The first hunting party moved through the jungle like ghosts. There were 5 of them, tall and scaled, carrying plasma rifles that glowed with blue light. Their leader was named, and he had hunted on Aura for 40 years. He had never lost prey. "The heat signatures lead this way," said one of his hunters, looking at a small screen. 12 targets, they are staying together. Made a pleased sound. Foolish, prey should scatter, together they are easy to corner. They followed the signals through thick vegetation. The jungle was dark now. Night had fallen, but they could see heat, and the human bodies glowed like torches in their vision. The signals led to a rocky hillside. Raised his hand and his team stopped. "They are inside," he whispered. "A cave. We go in fast, kill the first 2, let the others run, more fun that way." They approached the cave entrance, could see the heat sources clearly, 12 shapes huddled together in the darkness, not moving. "Now," he said. The hunters rushed forward, was first through the entrance, his rifle raised, ready to fire. He found only rocks. 12 rocks arranged in a circle. They were warm from sitting in the sun all day. In the darkness, to eyes, they looked exactly like human bodies. What began? The ceiling fell. Not the whole ceiling, just enough. A trap built from logs and stones held up by a single rope had designed it. Dong had found the perfect spot. When stepped on the trigger stone, the rope snapped. 2 hunters died instantly. Dove to the side and survived, but his leg was crushed under a boulder. His rifle flew from his hands. The 2 remaining hunters scrambled backward, firing their weapons wildly into the darkness. Blue plasma bolts lit up the cave like lightning. "Where are they?" one screamed. The answer came from behind them. Moved out of the shadows. He had covered his body in mud to hide his heat. In his hands was a stone axe. Beside him came Wu Jin, silent as death. The fight lasted 4 seconds. Dragged himself toward his fallen rifle, leaving a trail of blood. His leg was ruined. His team was dead. He had never imagined this was possible. A foot stepped on his hand. He looked up. A human female stood over him. Her face was calm. Her eyes were studying him like he was an interesting insect. "You are wounded," said. "You will die slowly unless you answer questions." Spat at her. "I tell you nothing, pray." Crouched down. She was not angry, she was not afraid. She looked at him the way she had once looked at wolves in Mongolia, understanding them, learning them. "How many hunting parties?" she asked. Silence. "Your communication device," continued, pointing to the equipment on his belt. "How does it work?" More silence, but's eyes moved toward the device just for a moment, saw it. "Thank you," she said. She took the device and walked away. Died alone in the darkness, still not understanding how prey had killed him. In the viewing station above the planet, chaos erupted. The broadcast showed everything. Millions of beings watched 5 elite hunters get destroyed by creatures with stone tools and mud. "This is impossible," a commentator said. His voice was shaking. "They were ambushed. The humans set a trap." The betting boards went crazy. Some beings began placing new bets. For the first time in Grand Harvest history, people were betting on the prey. The game masters met in an emergency session. "Send the second party," one demanded. "Better hunters, more of them." "The humans have weapons now," another pointed out. "They took the plasma rifles." "Then send hunters with better equipment. Sonic trackers, thermal shields, end this." The second hunting party was larger. 8, heavily armed, using sound instead of heat to track their targets. They spread out through the jungle, moving slowly, listening for any noise. They heard sounds coming from a clearing ahead. Footsteps, breathing, the soft sounds of humans moving through vegetation. The hunters surrounded the clearing and attacked from all sides. They found only machines. Had built them from bamboo and vine. simple devices that moved in the wind making sounds like footsteps, hollow tubes that whistled like breathing, decoys. While the hunters investigated the fake sounds, they did not notice the real humans circling behind them. Sora had spent all night studying the captured communication device. She did not fully understand it yet, but she had learned one thing. She could listen to their channels. "They are confused," she whispered to. "3 of them are arguing about which way to go. 2 more are investigating the decoys. The other 3 are coming back this way." Nodded, 3 we can handle. The attack was fast and brutal. The humans had plasma rifles now, taken from the first party, but they did not use them. The weapons were loud and bright. They would give away positions. Instead, they used the old ways, the human ways. Wu Jin dropped from a tree onto the first hunter. His knife, made from sharpened bone, found the gap between scales at the throat, came from the side, his axe cracking against a skull, used a rope trap to catch the third, pulling him off his feet so could finish him with a spear. 3 more dead in less than 10 seconds. The remaining 5 hunters heard the brief sounds of battle. They ran toward their fallen comrades, but when they arrived, they found only bodies. The humans were gone. "They move like shadows," one hunter whispered. His voice was afraid. This was not supposed to happen. Prey did not do this. In the viewing station, the audience had grown to billions. Word had spread across the galaxy. A prey species was winning. The game masters made a final decision. "Release the Reaper," the headmaster ordered. "Let the Aura finish this." Deep in a holding facility on the planet, a door opened. Something massive moved in the darkness. It was 6-legged, covered in armor that could stop plasma fire, with fangs that dripped venom and claws that could tear metal. The Aura had been bred for one purpose: to kill anything that lived. It had never failed. As it emerged into the jungle, it raised its head and smelled the air. It caught the scent of the humans. It began to move. In the cave, Sora picked up a transmission. "They released something," she said, her face pale. "Something called the Reaper." Everyone went quiet, even looked concerned. Wu Jin stood up and walked to the cave entrance. He looked out at the dark jungle. Somewhere out there, something terrible was hunting them. "We need to see it," he said. "Need to understand it." "And then what?" asked. Wu Jin turned back to the group. His face was hard but calm. "They found the Aura at dawn, or rather found its trail." She crouched in the mud, studying the tracks. Each footprint was as wide as her chest. The claws had dug deep into the earth. Whatever made these prints was heavy, powerful, and fast. 6 legs, she said quietly. Armor plating on the body. See how the track edges are sharp, hard scales. Plasma rifles may not work. "Then how do we kill it?" asked. Followed the trail with her eyes. She saw where it had stopped to sniff a tree, where it had knocked over a bush, where it had paused, confused by something. "Every creature has weakness," she said. "We just need to find it." They tracked the beast through the morning, read its behavior from the signs it left behind. It was intelligent but not as smart as a human. It hunted by smell and sound. It did not look up often. It moved in straight lines, not expecting prey to circle around. "Ambush predator," confirmed. "Like though but bigger, much bigger. It is not built for long chases." Understood immediately. "We tire it out." "Yes, our ancestors hunted this way for millions of years. We cannot run as fast as most animals, but we can run longer. We can sweat. We can cool our bodies while running. Most creatures cannot." "The Aura has armor," Dong pointed out. "Thick scales, it will hold heat inside." "Exactly," said. "If we keep it moving, it will overheat. It will slow down, and then it will be vulnerable." Wu Jin looked at the tracks again. A strange light came into his eyes. "We are going to run this thing to death." "Not death," corrected. "Just exhaustion, then we strike." They made their plan, divided them into 3 groups. Each group would take turns showing themselves to the creature, leading it on a chase, then disappearing while another group took over. The aura would never get a chance to rest, never get a chance to cool down. The hunt began at noon. Group 1, led by, found the aura near a river. It was drinking, its massive head lowered to the water. Up close, it was even more terrifying. Its body was as long as a truck. Its scales were dark green, almost black. Its eyes were yellow and empty like a shark's eyes. Picked up a rock and threw it. The stone bounced off the creature's armored back. The aura spun around, faster than anything that size should move. It saw the humans and charged. Group 1 ran. They sprinted through the jungle, leaping over roots and ducking under branches. The aura crashed through everything in its path. Trees snapped. The ground shook. It was gaining. But then they reached the rocky area Dong had marked. They scrambled up a cliff face the creature could not climb. The aura slammed into the rocks below, roaring with frustration. "Go around," breathed. "Come on, chase us." The creature turned and began circling the rocks, looking for a way up. By the time it found a path, Group 1 was gone, but Group 2 was waiting on the other side. Waved her arms and shouted, "Here, over here." The aura roared and charged again. For 6 hours they ran the beast across the jungle. Every time it got close, they escaped to terrain it could not follow. Every time it tried to rest, another group appeared to taunt it. The drones captured everything. Billions watched as 12 soft creatures led the unbeatable aura in circles. At first, the commentators laughed. Then they grew quiet. "It is slowing down," one finally said. "The beast is actually slowing down." By the 18th hour, the aura was stumbling. Foam dripped from its mouth. Its armored sides heaved with desperate breaths. It had never run this long in its life. Nothing had ever made it run this long. "Watch from a distance. Now," she said. The final confrontation happened in a clearing the humans had prepared. Stakes carved from hardwood lined a pit covered with leaves and vines. Ropes hung from trees. Plasma rifles taken from the dead hunters were positioned at key points. Group 3 led the exhausted creature into the clearing. It could barely run anymore. It could barely walk, but it still came, driven by rage and hunger. It hit the pit trap and fell. The stakes pierced its belly where the armor was weakest. It screamed, a terrible sound that echoed through the jungle. It thrashed, trying to climb out. Gave the signal. Plasma fire hit the creature from 3 directions. The shots aimed for the joints, the eyes, the gaps between scales. Ropes dropped from trees, tangling its legs. Humans with spears moved in, striking wherever they could. The aura fought hard. Even wounded and exhausted, it was deadly. Its tail caught across the chest and sent him flying. Its claws nearly took off's arm, but every time it struck, more wounds appeared on its body. Finally, Wu Jin climbed onto its back. He found the spot had identified, a gap in the armor near the spine. He drove his bone knife deep. The aura shuddered. Its yellow eyes went dim. It collapsed. Silence fell over the clearing. The humans stood around the massive body, breathing hard, covered in mud and blood. Some were crying, some were laughing. They had done the impossible. "Is everyone alive?" called out. Everyone was, injured, exhausted, but alive. Approached the body and examined the flesh where the armor had cracked. He pulled out a small piece and studied it. "The meat is safe," he said. "We can eat this." Wu Jin was already moving. He had been a survival instructor for 20 years. He had butchered animals all his life. This was just a bigger animal. "Build a fire," he said, "a big one." The drones watched everything. The galaxy watched everything. They watched the humans cut meat from the aura. They watched them build a fire and cook the flesh. They watched them sit down together and eat. In the viewing station, silence. Complete silence. For the first time in 3,000 years of the Grand Harvest, prey had killed and eaten a reaper. "What are they?" someone whispered. No one had an answer. On the planet below, sat near the fire chewing on a piece of roasted meat. It tasted strange but good, filling. She looked up at the drone floating nearby. She knew they were watching. She wanted them to watch. "We are humans," she said quietly, "and we are just getting started." Sora approached with the communication device. She had finally cracked its systems. Her face was grim. "I can hear their channels now," she said. "They are talking about bombing us from space. They want to destroy all evidence of what happened here." Stood up, his body was tired but his eyes were sharp. The game masters gathered in their control room, surrounded by screens showing 100 different angles of the jungle below. Their faces were pale. Their hands were shaking. "Destroy them," the headmaster ordered. "Order the orbital strike. Burn that entire region to ash." "Sir," one of the officers hesitated, "the broadcast is still live. Billions are watching. If we destroy them now after they won." "They did not win," the headmaster snapped. "Prey does not win. Prey dies. That is the natural order. That is what the Grand Harvest teaches." But even as he spoke, he knew it was too late. The footage was already spreading across the galaxy. Downloads in the millions. Copies on every network. The image of humans eating a aura had become the most viewed content in galactic history. On the planet below, Sara worked quickly. She had connected the communication device to a broken drone they had captured. Her fingers flew over alien controls she barely understood. "I can broadcast on their emergency channel," she said. "Every ship in this system will receive it. Every relay station will pick it up. It will spread everywhere." Nodded, "Do it." Sora pressed a button. A light turned green. They were live. Stood before the drone's camera. Behind him, the remains of the fire still smoldered. The bones of the aura lay scattered on the ground. His 11 companions stood in a line, watching. "My name is," he said. "I am a human from a planet called Earth. 4 days ago, your people kidnapped us. They dropped us on this world to be hunted for entertainment. They called us prey." He paused, let the words sink in. "You have watched what happened next. You watched us organize. You watched us fight back. You watched us kill your hunters with rocks and sticks. You watched us hunt your ultimate predator, and you watched us eat it." In the viewing station, beings from 100 worlds sat frozen. They had never heard prey speak like this. "Now I want you to understand something," continued. His voice was calm but hard as iron. "There are 8 billion humans on our planet. 8 billion. Every single one of us carries the same blood that runs in our veins, the same instincts, the same refusal to give up." He stepped closer to the camera. "You took 12 of us, 12 average humans, scientists, a cook, an engineer, a soldier. We are not our best fighters. We are not our strongest warriors. We are ordinary people, and we destroyed everything you sent against us." Behind him spoke up. "We learned your biology in hours. We predicted your tactics. We built weapons from nothing. This is what humans do. We adapt. We overcome. We survive." Raised the plasma rifle she had taken from a dead hunter. "We learn your technology quickly. Give us a year and we will build better. Give us 10 years and you will not recognize what we can create." Wu Jin gestured at the aura bones. "You thought this creature was the ultimate predator. We ate it for dinner. On our world we have done this for 1,000,000 years. We hunted the great mammals to extinction. We tamed fire. We split the atom. We are the most successful predators our planet has ever produced." Step back into frame. "So here is my message to everyone watching, every empire, every species, every being who thinks they are at the top of the food chain." His eyes burned into the camera. "Humans are not prey. We never were. And if you come for us again, we will not just fight back. We will find your worlds. We will learn your weaknesses. And we will hunt you the way we hunted everything else that tried to kill us." He let the silence stretch. "You have been warned." Sora cut the transmission. For a moment no one moved, then started laughing. It was a strange sound, half crying and half relief. "Did we just threaten the entire galaxy?" she asked. "Yes," said, "and we meant every word." High above in the viewing station, alarms began to sound, not from the planet below, from something else, something entering the system. "Unidentified vessel," an officer reported. "Coming out of faster-than-light travel, configuration unknown." The game masters watched their screens with growing horror. A ship appeared. It was not design. It was strange and angular, covered in markings none of them could read. Human markings. The ship was a military research vessel. It had been searching for the missing researchers for 4 days. When strange signals from an unknown part of space pointed toward this system, Admiral had ordered maximum speed. Now she stood on her bridge, looking at the planet below and the stations surrounding it. "Admiral," her communications officer said, "we are receiving thousands of broadcasts, video footage. It appears to be our people." "Show me." She watched, she saw the kidnapping, the hunting parties, the traps, the death of the Aura, the speech. When it ended, Admiral smiled. It was not a warm smile. "Open a channel to the command station." The head game master appeared on screen. He was trying to look confident, but his scales had gone pale with fear. "This is Admiral of the Earth vessel. You have 12 of our citizens on that planet. You will return them immediately." "This is sovereign space," the game master tried. "Your species has no authority here. The humans entered our game willingly. They were kidnapped," Admiral interrupted. "We watched the footage. The whole galaxy watched, and now the whole galaxy is watching to see what happens next." She leaned forward. "You can return our people safely and we leave. Or you can refuse and Earth learns where your empire lives. Those 12 people killed your best hunters with stone tools. Imagine what happens when we come with warships." The game master's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. "You have 5 minutes to decide." It took 2. A shuttle launched from the planet and docked with the 12 humans walked aboard, dirty and exhausted and alive. Was the last one up the ramp. He turned to look back at the planet where they had almost died. Stood beside him. She had her notebook out, writing even now. "What are you recording?" he asked. "Observations," she said. "For the report. These creatures have a lot to learn about our species. We should help them understand." "And what should they understand?" Closed her notebook and looked at the stars. "That humans are not game. We never were. We are what happens when a species spends 1,000,000 years being hunted by everything on its planet and never, ever learns to stop fighting back." The turned and jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind it, the stations were silent. The grand harvest was canceled, permanently. 6 months later, the Empire quietly made contact with Earth. They came not as hunters, but as diplomats. They offered technology in exchange for peace. They asked only one thing in return. "Please do not hunt us back." Earth agreed. Humans were reasonable creatures after all. They did not hold grudges. They did not need revenge. But across the galaxy, a new rule spread from world to world, species to species. A rule that would last for 1,000 generations. Never hunt humans. They are not prey. They are something far more dangerous. They are survivors, and they remember everything. Then we need to send a message first, a message the whole galaxy can hear. Then we hunt it. Let them come, days. They had never been more wrong about anything in their lives.